Welcome back to the Grapple Theory podcast. Today we're joined by a very special guest, one half of the Greedy Souls. It's Brendan White. Brendan, thanks so much for being here. How are you doing?
I'm really good, mate. Thank you for asking. I'm very, very good. Finally glad we were able to organise this. So
absolutely, it's been a long time in the making.
Yeah, it's been about over a year we tried to organise this.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and I appreciate that you're busy, like always. I mean, I don't know how you do it. I feel like I'm tired normally in like just day-to-day life, and I have like half the schedule that any wrestler does. So I don't know how you guys do it.
Yes, it's difficult, but it's all good.
It's all for the love of it, isn't it? It's all for the love of it, which is the most important thing. And like we always start each podcast by asking people at the minute, obviously, because we're rounding up to the end of 2023, how their year's been. Would it be fair to say for both yourself and also your Greedy Souls teammate Danny Jones, it's been a good year, right? It's been a very strong year for you guys.
Yes, very strong year. Yeah, we've been to like 9 countries together this year. You know, we've done seminars. We've kind of wrestled all over the place. We won and lost the Undisputed British Tag Team Championships. But we had a 10-month reign. We've got the Great British Tag League going on at the moment as well. We won the Slam Masters Tag Belts as well. Yeah, everything's going good, and I think the quality of our matches are getting better and better and better as well. So I'm kind of happy with how it's going.
For sure. When you're that busy, do you have a chance to like sort of take a step back and like evaluate yourself and see like in yourself, oh, like this is going quite well, we're doing good things, or is it sort of like a blur of a year?
It's a bit of both, to be honest. Like some things are blurred, but there are other things like where, you know, I remember being hungry in the summer, and I was just a bit like, wait a minute, I'm in Budapest right now for wrestling. You know what I mean? That stuff like that was cool. You know what I mean? It was really cool.
Yeah, for sure. What about? I mean, obviously we've got Christmas coming up. Do you get a bit of time off? Do you sort of like give yourself that? Obviously, like I'm sure training and stuff still happens, but like show wise and things like that, do you give yourself like a couple of weeks?
Well, November actually has been the quietest month I've had for since I've started. Actually, it's really quiet this month. But that's a good thing though, because it gives me time to kind of like, you know, wrestle, train a bit more, get a bit more in-ring conditioning done, and also kind of just like concentrate on what's coming up, because I know my December actually is quite busy. So really busy actually. So it's kind of the opposite. It's like this is the calm before the storm. November is so.
Yeah. You've got a busy December coming up, haven't you? Got a few shows. Obviously, you've got Attack. They're doing their missile tour as well. You're facing Emerson and Kanji, right? One show. That's going to be a brutal match. That'll be.
Yeah, I wasn't kidding when I said Emerson G is my favorite wrestler too. I love watching her wrestle. She's a psychopath. I love it. So I can't wait to get the ring with Kanji and Emerson G. So that'll be really good.
I was going to say we've had so many people come on and just rave about Emerson, and she's so good. Like I'm not surprised she's your favorite wrestler because she's absolutely brilliant. But like,
I remember watching her. I was like, what's going on? Like I watched her attack of this Rain Leverkusen in the Prism, and I was just like, who is this person? She was amazing.
Yeah, we had we had Boar on. We had Boar on like a few months ago, and he spoke about that. He said it was like a sellout in the locker room, like a gorilla basically, like watching the screens. Yeah. Like he said it was like a sellout there. Everyone was watching, being like, "Fuck, this match is amazing."
Yes, yeah, it was like that, and I was just like, I've got to follow this. I was like, wow. It was incredible.
Do you still get that? Do you still get those moments in your head, like before you're going out? If the match before you is that good, you're like, oh shit! Like, how are we gonna follow this?
Yeah, sometimes yes, sometimes yes.
That's cool. No, that's cool. I like the fact that like wrestlers still get that. It intrigues me. And as well as that, obviously we'll talk about Attack in a bit more depth. But obviously before, after that as well, you've got Riot Cabaret as well, haven't you? Before Christmas.
Yeah, that's the 19th of December. Yeah. Yes, that's Riot Cabaret.
Yeah, absolutely. What's going on? Because obviously, like I know, obviously you've got Greedy Vultures going on there. That whole alliance. But I mean, if you don't mind me, I don't mean to speak out of turn, but if you don't mind me saying, like at the last show, it seemed like there was a bit of tension there. After dropping those tag belts, it seems like there's like a little tension in the ranks. What's going on there?
Well, the last show, Danny Jones was the entrant into the Rumble, and he eliminated Spike, and I didn't know he was in the Rumble, so I was backstage getting changed and shouted because we'd had our match already. And then next thing I seen Dan's back out there, and like, what's going on? So I think that's a Danny and Spike issue. So
you just leave them to it. Don't get in the middle. Don't get involved.
Well, I'll see if I have to pick sides. I'm Team Danny, but
You'd prefer not to, yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of because the backstage in the Riot Cabaret is very large. It's like 3 floors, 3 different locker change rooms, showers on every floor.
Bloody hell.
I'm not even kidding you. I was genuinely in the shower. I came back out next, and Danny's not in. Like,
I didn't know the backstage at Riot was that big. That's a lot of stairs, especially if you're going to wrestle a match. You don't be doing all those stairs after or before as well. That's
yeah, and you got like the ugly people locker room as well, which is on one of the floors that Dan spikes in normally. So him and TKO is in the ugly person locker room as well. So it's
push to the side.
Yeah. It's called the Uggo room, and I never go in there, obviously.
No, of course not. Wouldn't have you in there. Absolutely not. I was gonna say Riot as well. Like, I know you tweeted about it, but obviously you've got to be gutted. Obviously not just losing the tag belts to Crowder and Martina, but the fact that they now get to face Mr Blobby at that show.
Yeah, like Mr Blobby was my childhood hero, man. So, I need to be in that match. Like, I need to tag with Blobby. It needs to happen.
Get the belts back.
Yeah, get the belts back and give me my tag match with Blobby. That's what I want. Yeah.
Mate, as Blobby as part of the Greedy Vultures would be quite a turn. I tell you what.
Mate, get him signed up.
The heel turn would be immense. No, that's brilliant. And again, like, it's got to be nice. Again, like you said, we spoke about the fact that you guys have had such a good year, and it must be nice knowing that you're like, you know, like Rev Pros, like your new waves, like Attack, like Riot, that you're valued so highly by all these promotions who keep like pushing you guys and giving you these matches and giving you these opportunities.
Yeah, no, we never take anything for granted, and that's the thing. Like with me and Dan, we just take things case by case. You know, we just kind of we're professional wrestlers. You know what I mean? We don't do anything else. We just wrestle, and we just love being in the ring. Everything outside of it, good or bad, we just ignore. To be honest, we just wrestle all the time. So
and that's how it should be, right? That's how you want it to be.
Yeah, and I think people who like what they do will do it better, and like as long as I'm happy doing what I'm doing, I'm chill. But the thing is, I'm the most laid back person ever as well. So it's kind of one of those.
No, sure. And we mentioned Attack earlier. I'm talking about that because we spoke to Bor about it when he came on as well. But like, it just seemed like such a hype moment when Attack came back. Yeah. And like, it just seems to have been riding that wave for the rest of the year. Has it felt like that? Like being at those shows, like with the crowd and stuff, has it felt like, oh shit, this is big. Like we were clearly missed this much.
Yeah. And I think Attack was, for me, a big one anyway, because that's what like kickstarted my career. Attack, the platform Attack gave me was the one that really kickstarted my career. So I kind of particularly was really happy that Attack came back. And that first show came back, that Prism show, every match just got better and better and better and better. And like, it goes under the radar, but the match me and Dan had against Lagos Jim on that show, it honestly, like, I like, it's really gone under the radar. That's probably one of the best tag matches this year. I would argue that it is incredible, that tag match is, mate. And I came out that match like absolutely like, what just happened? We were all like, me and Dan were just like, the crowd were hot. Like me and Dan, everything we did, like everything. I think that match needs to be watched because I think not many people's like mentioned it much, but like one of the best tag matches I've ever been a part of. And yeah, if you get a chance to watch that, give it a watch. It's one of my favorite tag matches I've ever had.
Awesome. Yeah, anyone watching who hasn't watched it, check it out for sure. I mean, like, that's the thing, isn't it? Like, almost like what I was saying about, do you get those moments to like look back on your year and like appreciate how it's going in a match like that when it's going that well? Do you know it during the match, or is it only like when you've left the ring where you're like, oh shit, that was a great match?
Kind of. You feel kind of like you don't feel like you know it's a good match because at the end of the day, you're in the match, you don't really know until, but you know if you're enjoying it, you know you're having fun, and the reaction of other people when you go backstage and they were saying like, you know what I mean, that was incredible and stuff, or that was really good and all that kind of stuff. You get that kind of vibe, you know. So obviously, you know, kind of if you're having fun, you know it's going well. That's kind of how it is, but, you know. So
for sure, and obviously, like, those are promotions that keep you busy. We've spoken about, but you're also busy with New Wave Academy and New Wave, obviously, like putting on shows, but in the academy as well. I mean, like, it must be nice to be that busy, but also like I imagine it's plenty of hard work.
Yeah, like you deal with like a lot of personalities and all that kind of stuff. But the reason I kind of like opened New Wave and stuff and really took over Dragon Pro was primarily to give people platforms and make sure, because I think the Welsh wrestling scene's the best it's ever been, and I do think it's grassroots. It starts at the grassroots level. If you've got a really good training school and you got people at the top leading by example, kind of like being nice to everyone, treating everyone with respect, making sure we say the doors open to everyone, get people out there, working with other places as well. You know, we work with Slam Masters, work with No Mercy, all these kind of places, right? We work with everyone to build the scene up, and it all trickles down then, you know what I mean? If you've got one place which is just like insular and toxic, and then that passes down to their trainees, and then trainees take out other places. Whereas with New Wave, we're all about bringing each other up, giving opportunities to people, giving platforms, and like even this New Wave show coming up now, New Wave 13, I got Robert Dreisker down from WXW, wrestling Jay Joshua, you know, because I was kind of tempted to kind of, but yeah, essentially I was going to do the Dreisker match with myself, but I thought if I do that, then I'm missing the point of what New Wave is about. I feel like New Wave is more about kind of giving platforms and opportunities to people who deserve it, and I think Jay Joshua really deserves it. So
I was gonna say, yeah, Jay is one of those guys that I feel like this year especially has really come into his own, like really shone, had some incredible matches, and like I feel is like definitely like one of those like rising stars to watch in the next couple of years.
Yeah, like he's been around for a little while now, but I think like with the case with all wrestlers, myself included, sometimes you get given things too soon, and then you kind of make your mistakes early doors, or you kind of don't realize what you were given until a while after, and then you kind of reassess and build yourself back up. And I think Jay Joshua is going through the process now of like, to be honest, like, you know, is my opinion, I felt like he was given a lot really early on, but then kind of not saying took it for granted, but kind of all got complacent. But it just, that dip happens, you know, where you get a lot of given on, and then you have the dip, and then you wonder why then you're not given these opportunities again. It's kind of like, and then when you figure it out, and then you get back on the wagon. And like, he's someone I've watched kind of really change in the last year and a half, and really get the grips with who he is and how he conducts himself as a wrestler and all that kind of stuff. And I just thought that I could easily kind of book matches for myself at this point because New Wave and stuff. But I was like, it's not for me. It's for someone like Jay Joshua and like so many people coming up from New Wave now. And you know, we're very grateful to have Bourne, our coaching team, Danny Jones as well. You know, so many great people. I just run it. I don't take credit for anybody. There's so many good people there. It all runs itself, really, you know.
No, sure. Well, we've had people come on the pod and talk about like the influence that like you've had on them and like the training that you input. And I want to ask, like, not specifically about Jay, but like in situations like that, it's interesting you mentioned like when someone maybe gets that big push, maybe like not necessarily a little too soon, but like it becomes a bit too much. They have that dip. Like, how important is it? And like from your experience to sort of make sure that they, again, like just handle it okay, that dip doesn't become a, like, you know, a full slump, and they're able to like sort of get back on that ladder?
Yeah, it's an interesting one, because I always think, and that's a good question actually, and I think a good question deserves a good answer. So I always feel that wrestling comes in cycles. So like no matter what happens in your career as a wrestler, you'll have a good cycle or you have a bad cycle. It doesn't matter. Like it just, sometimes you're the right place, right time. It doesn't matter. You'll inevitably have a good cycle. Even if you don't work hard, you'll still have a good cycle. You'll have a bad cycle too. But the difference between having more good cycles and bad cycles is the work you put in. So like, for example, it took me, like, I was a year and a half just driving to Rev Pro shows before I got a shot on the Rev Pro show. That was a year and a half of me putting the ring up, putting the ring down, traveling from show to show. And I was giving up my Sundays, even though I could have got bookings, to do that. I did that for a year and a half. But when I finally got onto a pro show, I stayed on them. You get what I mean? So all the stuff I was doing in between, kind of driving to Rev Pro and back, when I finally got my chance, I stayed there. But the reason why I stayed there is because the hard work I put in to make sure I stayed on the good cycle. You know what I mean? Because I could let my head drop at any time and then gone back down to having a bad cycle. But I do think it's kind of like I said, the hard work you put in terms of like your training, your networking, kind of, if you're not on a show, why aren't you going to a show? All that kind of thing, you know. Even now, like tomorrow I'm going to a wrestling show myself, you know what I mean? I might even go to 2, you know, because I'm free. I'll take training on Sunday and then I'll go to 2 shows. And that's kind of where I'm like now. And I think from 2018 to 2021, nobody put more miles in a car and petrol than I did. I traveled, I went everywhere, because at the end of the day, I know even when I'm kind of in these places now, like the Progress, the Red Pros and OTT, even though I've wrestled for all these places now, I still don't get complacent. I still don't think I'm there now. They can get in touch with me. I'm kind of still you know, going and showing out of sight, out of mind, right? I'm still
exactly.
Now, you know what I mean? So I'm still young, you know what I mean? I still got plenty of years left for me as well. So I got no, like, I'm not one of these 40-year-old people, like, you know, holding on. I'm still very much in my prime. I haven't even hit my prime yet, you know what I mean? I'm still young. I just took on a lot of responsibility early on. And here we are, like, you know, so.
No, and it shows. I was going to say, it's interesting because, like, obviously you mentioned, like, the hard work it takes to get on the show. But, like, that I imagine, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, but I imagine the harder work, like you say, is then proving that you deserve to still be on those shows once you're on them.
Yeah, and like I said, for me, I had to do it the hard way a little bit. There's some people just naturally talented, will just get their shots really early on because they're extremely gifted, they look a certain way, and all that kind of stuff. And I could have easily been like, why are they on a show instead of me? I've done more work than them. But it doesn't work like that. I always think, compete with yourself to get better, compete with other people to get better. And I always thought, when I do get my chance, I know I'm going to be ready for it. And some people get their chance early on, they're not ready for it, and then by that point, then they've been seen in front of hundreds of people, being seen by promoters, and then they instantly have the opinion of that person then on the basis of being given a chance too soon and not being ready for it, and then they just fall apart. Whereas when I got a chance, I was ready because I did a lot of matches, a lot of shows, and I worked on the camps a lot, and I really honed my craft to a point where then when I did get the chance, the first impression I made was a good one. You know?
Yeah, for sure. And you mentioned the like the Welsh scene coming up and like wanting to help it build and stuff like that. I wanted to ask you about that because, like you say, the Welsh scene is on fire at the minute. Yeah. And like, I guess the basic question I want to ask is like, why? Like, what is it about the Welsh scene from, like, again, someone who like lives there and is part of it that you think makes it so good? Because like, I see it as an outsider and I'm like, you see all this talent coming out of Wales and I'm just like, there's got to be something in the water there that is making it like that. It's just incredible, the amount of talent that comes out of there.
Yeah, well, I do think a big part of it is, I think, I'm going to sound biased. I do think New Wave's a big part of it, like in terms of like, because it's not just the coaches there, it's the people who train there too. That's a big part of it. And when you have good attitudes, good vibes, and kind of none of this kind of insular, kind of toxic territorial type of wrestling, you know what I mean? Because that's been something that's always been around to some point, you know what I mean? Where like some people say, oh, if you train here, you can't go here and all that kind of stuff. I'm just like, come if you want, if you don't, it's fine. You know, I'm really chill with it. And I also think for the first time, and from my experiences, I think the Welsh scene's working together for the most part. Like 95% of the Welsh wrestling scene's working together. And, you know, I'm kind of, if anybody ever kind of messaged me about kind of recommending someone or ask me for a booking or anything like that, I'm like, yeah, I'll do it. 100%. You know what I mean? I'm kind of, and I encourage people to go everywhere and travel people. I think it trickles down from there. You know what I mean? If it's good role models and representatives at the top of the scene, it will trickle down if you kind of encourage it. You know what I mean? And yeah, it's like, I think the whole kind of everything's just changing in Wales at the moment. I feel like we all go to training, we all have fun, we all want to work hard, and we all go to training with a smile on our face, and we leave on a smile on our face. And I always think, like, with the rest of the Welsh scene as well, like the caliber talent there, you know, I mean, how can you, like, Bo is a big example for me. You know, he trained most of the Welsh scene. He is solely responsible for the Welsh wrestling scene. Like, I'll like, particularly in ring, he is solely responsible for that. And I think, like, we just really fortunate to have really good wrestlers here who's paved the way. And someone like you say me and Dan, for example, we've kind of broke the glass ceiling and changed what I mean to be a professional wrestler in Wales by going out there, networking, traveling, putting the miles in, getting all these European tours out of the way and all that kind of stuff, and kind of saying to guys, we've been in like 9 or 10 countries this year, we can do this, you can do it. You know what I mean? It's that positive kind of enforcement as well, you know?
Yeah, for sure. I think I said it to Bora as well when we had him on, is the fact that, like, it's really interesting in the sense that I think for a long time, people are like, oh, if you're going to go for like a weekend away to watch wrestling, you probably go to London and one of those shows and you stay over in London, you have a weekend in London. But like, I know a ton of fans now who do that for Wales, for Cardiff, and like come and see Attack and stuff like that, and New Wave and things. Yeah. Like, where instead of like going for a weekend away in London, they're going for a weekend away in Wales and going to watch one of your shows. And I think that's like, in a way, like one of the biggest compliments of how it's growing and how it's expanding. Like, it's not just a Welsh promotion, like it's a British promotion that people are willing to travel across the country to see.
Yeah, we are eternally grateful for that, because all we want to do is just bring the scene up, and you know, you see it in times, you're like, oh, British wrestling's dead, it's not the same. In Wales, it's better than it's ever been right now, and I think there's so many good things coming out of Wales at the moment. December is stacked in terms of the quality of shows coming out, and week after week, month after month, there's a lot of good people coming out of Wales.
Yeah, I mean, we could talk for hours about the whole the irony of people saying Brit wrestling's dead, right? Like, it's just you know, it's bullshit. That's the thing, is like,
yeah.
But in my opinion, like, wrestling in the UK generally is the best it's been. Like, even when it was in that boom, like 2018, 2019, like, I think the talent now is better. There's more of it. I think there's more talent now than there was then.
Yeah, I think in some ways it's kind of not as big in terms of kind of like the popularity of certain wrestlers and all that kind of stuff. However, I think in ring standards wise, I think it's it's great.
Yeah.
At the moment, I think understandably a lot of things happened since COVID and everything like that. But I do think that the scene, like I said, in Wales in particular, like I can only speak for Wales really. It's the best it's been, like, and I've been around for like 8-9 years now, and I just know I started really young, and I know that it's really really good scene at the moment.
Yeah, for sure. And as someone who like runs New Wave as well, like it's important that, again, given everything that happened over the pandemic, that again people like feel safe and want to train and want to come to you guys to get into wrestling and feel safe in that environment as well.
Absolutely. We encourage everything and everyone, and it's kind of good to see that, like, yeah, I've been doing it for like 16 months now with New Wave, and I just think the training school's got bigger and better. You know, I started off with 12 members, now it's like nearly 40.
Damn.
And it's kind of like, and like we have good months and bad months, and sometimes it's a struggle in terms of for me personally, but for the most part, it's just good vibes constantly, and we just want to encourage more people to kind of be like, no, it's safe here, it's good here, you know, and if you want to help be a wrestler, then let's go.
No, that's great, mate. That's great. And like, yeah, genuinely, you're a credit to the scene. You really are. Like, you're doing great work. And like,
I don't take credit for anything or anybody. I just run the place.
Well, you do it well. And we spoke a lot about New Wave and like the positives around it. We've got a little fun feature here on the podcast where we're going to have you talk about, I'm not going to say negatives. It's not the negatives, but we're going to have you like poke a little fun at New Wave at the minute now, because we've got a feature called Dishing the Dirt, where I'm going to pose you some like questions, some scenarios, I guess. And I want you to let me know which member of the New Wave roster, I guess, the New Wave locker room it most associates to.
Okay, I think okay, and let's see.
So the first one is who's always running late? Who's always running a little behind?
I gotta be honest, for the most part, everyone's quite punctual. I can't remember anyone being late.
That's pretty good. That's very impressive.
Yeah, I don't want to throw anybody under the bus because, like, I don't know.
No, yeah. Sure. No, that's fine. That's always good to hear. The next one's totally subjective, I'll say. And it's like one of the only ones that I'd say is like a negative, and it's not really that, because again, it's so subjective. But in your mind, who has the worst music taste?
Worst music taste? Like James Ellis is kind of stuck in the like 02, 03 Attitude Era kind of songs. But I am as well, so I'm also pretty bad at music as well. So Neil James Ellis, I think.
Yeah. I tell you what, that's not a bad era to like. It's not a bad era. It's got some tunes in there.
Yeah, my playlist ranges from Busted to Attitude Era songs to musical songs, all sorts.
Proper old school. Love it.
Yeah.
The next one is who's the comedian of the locker room? Who can you always count on to make you laugh the most?
Unintentionally Nico. Intentionally Splits is quite funny. He makes me laugh.
Yeah. What do you mean unintentionally, Nico? What does he do that's like?
He's just like, he's black and white. There's no grey area with Nico. You'll say something and he'll just be like, yes or no. There's no maybes with him. He's so direct and he's so kind of like, he's like a robot. It's like a cyborg. It's really funny.
Brilliant. The next one is who brings the best food to the locker room? Like whether it's their like, pre-show meal or like whether they bring snacks or whatever. Does anyone just bring really good food that you look at and you're like, oh, I wish I had that?
No, I've never seen anyone come backstage with something and go, oh, Joe, I fancy that. You know what I mean?
They just bring bad food. It's all bad. Nah.
Yeah, I've never been around that. No, I can't think of anyone who's brought food. No,
fair. The next one is the other one as well as the music one that I say is really like dirt, I guess. And again, it's all subjective, but we're talking not in the ring now, but like either pre or post show. Who has the worst dress sense?
Harrison Bennett, hands down.
Yeah.
We went for a photo shoot with Beyond Gorilla about a year or two ago, and he rocks up right with his Joseph Technicolor dream coat and he's all about tie-dye trousers, and I was like, oh my god, that's absolutely hanging. He's by far got the worst dress sense, and he still wears that jacket for the ring now, and I'm like, oh god.
You see it walk through the door, you're like, oh, not again.
Yeah, you watch him when he walks out, like, he got this orange Joseph Technicolor Dreamcoat jacket on. It's disgusting. It's a crime. You should be locked up for it.
Amazing. Well, the next one's on the opposite end. The next one's a lot nicer because we're talking in the ring now, and we're saying this is like a hypothetical, like one-size-fits-all scenario here. So you've forgotten your gear for a show, and you need to borrow someone else's gear. I'm going to say that you're not allowed to say Danny because I think that's too similar. You got to say someone else. If you've got to borrow someone else's gear for a show, whose do you look at and you're like, I could pull that off?
Honestly, I like the way I'm built. I couldn't pull off anybody else's gear, to be honest, because I'm just like a large man. So.
Oh no, we're talking one size fits all. So like whoever's you pick, it will fit you. Like it will guarantee to fit you. But it's just about the style more than the sizing.
I couldn't be seen in any other gear other than kind of. I just couldn't. Nah.
I think you could pull off the Rain Leverkusen. I think you could pull off like the metal shirt and the jacket.
Yes. But again, I'd have to look like Rain Leverkusen, and I don't want to. So.
There's only one Rain.
There's only one Rain. Yeah. So
she's smashing it at the minute as well. All the best to her with her injury recovery. But she's had a great year. Like before the injury, she had such a good year.
The commentary on the latest show is amazing. I'll post a clip of it soon. It's the funniest commentary you'll ever use.
Is it? I've got to listen to that then. Yeah, we got to hear
that. It's on demand today or tomorrow, and yeah, Rain's commentary on that is like puts Jim Ross to shame. You know, it's that good.
The ultimate compliment. There's
sarcasm there as well, but. You get my point.
Love it. No, that's brilliant. Yeah, big up Rain. The next one I always say is like a little counterproductive, asking a wrestling locker room, but like outside the locker room again, like who's the most competitive?
Ooh, competitive. Flash is really competitive.
Is it?
He's super competitive. I think Ricky Knight Jr. is really competitive too. Like every time I'm talking to him, he's always. Like he's one of my best friends in wrestling. I love Ricky. Right, I'd say he's easily one of the best friends in wrestling, and just everything's a competition with him. Yes.
I was gonna say I feel like you grow up in that family, right, and you're bound to be competitive just by pure nature.
Yeah, no, he's a good dude. I love Shane Logan. Ricky, he's a man.
Nice. The next one again. It's like a hypothetical world where everyone is throwing a party on the same night, and you've been invited to everyone's party, but of course, you can only pick one. Whose party are you going to? Who in the locker room would throw the best party? The one you need to be at?
Oh, jeez. I don't know. Whose party would I go to? Thing is, I'm not a
You're not a partier.
Like I am, but I'm more of a kind of like I like to go to a pub and have a pint or two, a pint or three, and I don't know. I don't know.
I think like Ball would be that sort of guy, right? Though, that would just invite you to the pub. You can put a few back, and then.
Yeah, because when I drink with Ball, like, cause we went to school together, so I know that when he's drunk, he's the funniest drunk ever. So yeah. But I wouldn't. I don't know the answer because there's so many personalities and new that I'd probably go to all of them. To be honest, they're all fun.
You find a way.
Yeah, I'd go one for an hour, one for another. You know, that's what I'm like a social butterfly as well, so I go everywhere.
Sure, yeah, the diplomatic solution for sure.
Yeah, trying to please everyone.
No, I like it. And the final one is again, I'm going to say you can't say Danny because that's too obvious. So someone else. Who would you pick to be your partner in the zombie apocalypse?
Mr Blobby.
Obviously, great choice. Yeah, you'd scare them all off.
I didn't even think about that. Blobby all the way. Like I Riot Cabaret. If Sean and James, if you are listening to this at any point, I need to tag with Mr Blobby. I don't care.
Putting it out there. This has got to happen.
It's got to happen.
There we go. We'll put this out as one of our clips that we put out. We'll tag Sean and James in it. Make sure they see it. Make sure that they know where it's got to go. Brilliant. Love it. Well, that was all good. That brings us to the end of that segment. We've got a couple more fun segments before we wrap up. But I want to talk to you. You mentioned earlier about the Great British Tag League, obviously part of that. I think it's just such an innovative idea, like over at Red Pro. I think it's like, because again, as a big football fan myself, it sort of reminds me of that. You know what I mean? You sort of play it out over a number of months, a number of shows. And it's just this like running thing that I think is just really intriguing. It gives you that reason to be at every show to see how the league progresses.
Yeah, no, the tag league's really competitive, and I think this year, I think it's like the best tag teams in the country are in that tag league, and I think it's kind of pretty elite. And also as well, it's not just the best tag teams in the UK in that tag tournament. I think it's given a platform because Kieran Lacey and Mark True, like I know of them and I've seen them a bit, but giving them the spotlight to kind of really kind of hang with these teams and kind of see them shine up. Same with CBF as well, seeing them getting in there as well and kind of shining up on a kind of mainstream level, kind of, because RevPro is, in my opinion, probably the biggest promotion in UK at the moment. Yeah. I think it is.
Yeah.
Especially with the Cobble Box weekend, I think it blew everything else out of the water.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, you know, and I feel like that British Tag League, seeing those two teams getting a chance to really kind of shine in the mix of like being in there with kind of, you know, like off Jim, myself, ourselves, the Knights, Sunshine Machine, you know, it's kind of a lot of good, serious teams in that tag league, and Subculture as well. You know, I forgot about them. They beat up for the belts. I hate those boys, but you get what I mean. Though it's like a lot of quality tag teams, and also it's putting a showcase on tag team wrestling like it should be, because tag team wrestling is the most fun wrestling.
Yeah,
you know what I mean,
I was gonna say, like, just in those teams alone, like, it shows how good the tag scene is in the UK at the minute. And then like there's loads of other tag teams that aren't even in it that are like incredible as well.
Yeah, everyone's knocking at the door, and I really feel like you know, whatever, because when I think the tag league finals at Crystal Palace, right? I seen and after that on the 16th, and I feel like me and Dan in a good position to get out of Block B anyway, because, you know, we got 9 points, not 6, because we beat Subculture, which counts as double because they're the chance to beat them. And we beat CBF, so we got 9 points, so we should really be in the final. But we got Sunshine Machine to go through first again, and then we'll see where it goes. But what do you think the final is going to be? How do you kind of?
I don't know. I was, obviously, you're here, so I was going to say Greedy Souls. Obviously, of course. I think it's too tough to call. Like you say, with the young and like the young guys coming through, like CPF and True and Lacey, like, I think like it's just super cool seeing them. That was like the biggest pop for me when I saw the announcements, like seeing those guys in it. Because obviously, like, you guys, the Rev Pro regulars, I'd expect to be in it. But like I'd seen like True and Lacey at Purpose loads, and I was like, these guys need to be everywhere. And like to see them get that spot in the tag league was incredible. I was like, oh, that's like, I was super happy for them for that. But I couldn't call it, if you ask me. Obviously, I think you guys are going to be in the final. But I think no matter who you face, it'll be cracking, won't it? And in Crystal Palace as well, it's going to be it's going to be big. You know, it's going to be big.
Yeah, like I'm not going to overlook Sunshine Machine because I think the way Block B is at the moment, Andy's give us 6 points, and I think it's us with 6 points. Subculture with 6 points, no, 3 points or 6. Well, how many matches Subculture had?
They've had 2, right?
Yeah, so they've got 3 points.
Yeah,
so Subculture got 3 points, and Sunshine Machine got 3 points because they beat CPF, right? Yeah. So how would it work now? So if
you'd have to beat Sunshine Machine to guarantee it,
right? Okay,
for sure.
So, yeah.
So
we can't overlook like Sunshine Machine because we've had some battles with them over the last kind of 2 years. To be fair, we've gone from wrestling each other all the time to not wrestling each other at all now. So I'm not overlooking those boys. But if we do beat them, it means we're in the final race and they're in Block A, which is either Lycos Gym or the Knights.
Yeah. Lycos Gym again have been on this hair as well. There's so many good teams who've just had such good years. Like, it's literally impossible to call.
Yeah, it's like, and that's the thing. That's why I'm kind of glad my November is kind of like it is. So it gives me a chance to get in the gym a bit more, get in wrestling train a bit more, kind of, you know, get fresh and recover from a lot of kind of wear and tear. Because do you know the thing is killing me the most of traveling? Being on planes, being stuck on like the plane seats, right? They're not built for people like my size and Dan size. You know what I mean? We're just cramped up. It's not ideal, but it's good to kind of get your body rest from all the travel.
Oh, for sure. You've got to know when a break's needed, right? You've got to know when your body needs that time to recover.
Yeah, physical and mental reset. It's kind of nice.
And that gives you the advantage against Sunshine Machine as well, doesn't it? Because obviously they've been traveling, they've been everywhere this month. So like, you know, you've been sitting, resting, recuperating. You know, you go into it a lot fresher.
I hope so, and I think, but also as well. But if you're constantly in the zone, you kind of. You know what I mean? So it's kind of, there's pros and cons to it. But yeah, I'm kind of, Yeah, I'm not overlooking Sunshine Machine, but we'll see where we go.
No, sure. Hopefully you'll be there. And again, like I think, like you say about RevPro, I'd say they're definitely the biggest promotion in the UK. I mean, like to run Crystal Palace and the Copper Box in 1 year is mad. Like that's incredible.
Yeah, and obviously, like we were pissed that we weren't on the Copper Box, and that's why we did our thing.
That's why you beat the crap out of Subculture and the Velocity.
We beat the crap out of them. The Velocities didn't matter on that day. It didn't matter. It did not matter. Anybody could have walked out, right? We could have wrestled Aussie Open that night. It didn't matter on that night. We were pissed off, and because we are the best tag in the UK. I feel that strongly, and I feel like we never had our rematch for the RevPro tag belts, and I'm still kind of bitter about it. So if that means we have to win the tag league to get our shot back at Subculture and get our belts back, then I'm kind of down for it. But the genuine frustration on the Copper Box. Did you see the way me and Dan walked out?
Mate, it was intense. Like you walked out there like point to prove, yeah.
No. Like I know wrestling is what it is, but that was real. That was real pissed off emotion. I was really like that because I felt like we were on the banger tag matches all year. We were on every single show, and then to get pulled on a Copper Box, that really kind of. But it's not about. It's not about kind of being bitter. It's about being better. So I was like, because like I said, I could have been better, but we was like, nah, we're just gonna be better. We'll go there, beat the piss of these boys, and then prove we're better.
I was gonna say like, not in a bitter way, but like in a like sort of almost like chip on the shoulder way. It gives you that push to be like, right, well, I'm gonna prove that you made the wrong call doing that.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, I love RevPro. I love everything about it. But I feel that we got a job to do now in the next kind of couple of weeks. And hopefully kind of prove that we are the best tag team in RevPro.
Absolutely, and I'm sure you will. Looking forward to seeing it, mate. I'm looking forward to it.
I remember we wrestled St. Neots the day after Boxing Day last year, I think it was, and me and Dan had like proper like we were ill. We didn't have COVID because we tested negative, but we were ill, and we had Michael who slapped me in the back full log, and I had a red handprint on my back for like a week afterwards, and I was like, oh.
Not a good Christmas present. That's enough.
No, I absolutely hate St. Neots. Like every time RevPro do a show in St. Neots and we get asked, can we do the date? I look at the date. Because like the thing is, Andy doesn't tell you where the venue is. He just gives you a date, and then like, oh, can you do this date? I'm like, yeah, sure. And then I check I go on the RevPro website and check, and if it's St. Neots, I'm like, oh no, I hate St. Neots with a passion. Like,
you're calling back, you're like, actually mate, so I'm busy that day. Just
I remember the one time we flew back, like the last time we did St. Neots, we flew back from, I think it was Italy. Yeah, we flew back from Italy at 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning. We got a Stansted. We drove to St. Neots then for like an extra hour. We went to go breakfast. We slept in the car for about 5 hours, 6 hours. Got to the venue on like no sleep. We were walking on Rome at 3 a.m. and then St. Neots then by 12. And I was like, imagine being in Rome at 3 a.m. walking around seeing the Colosseum and then rocking up to St. Neots the same day.
It's quite a culture turn, isn't it? It's quite a culture.
Honestly, I said to Dan, I was like, what the fuck are we doing? Like we were in Rome at 3 a.m. and now we're in St. Neots. And St. Neots, all they got there is like a shit ton of car parks. There's a Waitrose, and then there's a nice little breakfast place, and that's it. I hate St. Neots.
Mate, I was going to say, before RevPro started running that, I had no idea that was a place or where it was. Like,
it's like time stood still. Yeah. It's just, it's like, you know, what's the film called? Not Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz. Not like Hot Fuzz.
Yeah.
It's very Hot Fuzzy, without the accent, isn't it?
Yes, it totally is. Yeah. You could see them being there in that, like, in like the church graveyard, like the greater good sort of thing. Yeah.
Last time I walked out RevPro, I looked at Andy, he was like, St. Neots, are you serious? Like, yeah. I was like, oh. Okay.
Oh, no, that's brilliant.
If you're from St. Neots and you're watching this, just know I actually hate St. Neots.
Yeah, Andy, no, what are you doing?
Like, honestly, if you're a wrestler from Orlando, you've been in St. Neots, I'm not going. Yeah. Never.
Refuse. Just done with it.
I like Andy. That's the only way I do it. But other than that, no.
No, I love it. I don't blame you. Well, we always end the podcast. We're coming to the end now. We always end with, again, another little fun feature. And we call this Anatomy of a Pro Wrestler. So this isn't about Brendan White, the wrestler, anymore. This is sort of about you and like a get to know you kind of thing. So again, I'm going to put out some questions to you and you let me know what comes to mind.
Sure.
So the first one is what is your favourite post-pinfall pig out?
Post-pinfall pig out. Ooh.
Yeah.
So we went to Domino's after Birmingham once, and we had a large pizza each. Me and Dan, we smashed them. That Domino's is good.
Nice.
But generally speaking, it's kind of like Mackey's, or if we're lucky, sometimes get Leon. But other than that,
that's fancy. Leon's like the fancy one, like.
Oh, Leon's class. I love Leon.
Yeah, that's a good shout. But it is normally Mackey's, isn't it, in terms of what's open?
Yeah. Unfortunately.
What about Domino's? What did you get? What was that pizza that you got?
So I get mocked a lot for this, but I just eat cheese and tomato, thin and crispy base.
Keep it classic.
Yeah, I get mocked for it though. It's like, oh, that's not a pizza if you don't put everything on it. I'm like, nah, I just like plain cheese tomato. I do.
No, that's fair. I understand. I won't judge that. The next one, again, it's food related, but it's the classic. What would your death row last meal be?
Oh, definitely. I gotta be honest. A good Nando's or a good Miller and Carter. Nice. A good steak, not necessarily Miller and Carter, but a good steak.
Yeah. How do you have it cooked? That's the key question. So
based on my pizza choices, what do you reckon?
Oh, you're gonna say well done, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
Oh no. Oh, Brendan, no. It's all going so well until that.
I am a fussy eater as well. Yes.
Oh no, we had Joe Lando say the same. So you have your steak cooked the same as Joe Lando, if that helps.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I think Joe Lando's a stand-up guy. So
There you go. The next one is the song that gets you the most hyped.
Ooh, most hyped. Anything by Shikari. I think anything kind of gets me going with them because I just love them. Arguing with Thermometers, that's the song that gets me going.
Yeah, great band, Shikari. Great band. Yeah. I'm more partial to their earlier stuff, but.
Mate, I was going to go to a gig of theirs not so long ago. Right? One of my friends is a drum tech for him.
Right.
And he messaged me, going, are you in Bristol? Because I took my partner to a hen-do shoes on. And she said, pick me up about 10. I was like, fine. So I stayed in Bristol. And I met up with a drum tech guy. We had some food. And I was like, I can get you in for free. I was like, I got a ticket already. I was like, happy days. So I had access to all areas. I walk into the venue where they were playing. He got me on the English-Kai tour bus. So I was on the tour bus, right? And I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. So I followed this band as a teenager. I went to walk into the venue. My girlfriend made me drunk saying, can you take me home?
Oh, no. Oh, that is gutting. That's unbelievable.
Bro, I was furious.
Yeah, that is heartbreaking. Oh my God.
Yeah.
No, that's...
So, the last time I see English-Kai, I didn't see him. Yeah.
I was going to say, how long did it take for you to get over that one? That's
Well, I mentioned on a podcast a year later, so it's still long ago.
Actually, yeah, I was going to say, it's been a while. Still holding that grudge.
I'm still bitter about it.
Yeah, no, I don't blame you. That is gutting. That is really gutting. But maybe one day again. Well,
February 16th, they're in Cardiff, so I'm hoping to go see them in Cardiff.
Nice. I was going to say, as a wrestler, that must be tough, because I love gigs as well, and, I kind of, if you're wrestling weekends as well, I imagine, it's tough. You must miss a lot of gigs that you want to go to.
Yeah, I really got back into gigs again, during the pandemic and stuff, because English Kai was the last band I saw before Wales got locked down again, and that was a week before they closed down again, and I just loved it, and I was like, I can never take this for granted again. I can never take, if every time I ever complain about driving to Scotland for a show or anything like that, I'm like, I can never take it for granted again. And I feel the same with the gigs, so if I get a chance to go to a gig, I'll always go.
No, great live band as well, Shikari. Great live band.
Yeah.
Amazing. Awesome. No, good shout. The next one is the movie that I'd show the locker room.
Ooh. So, movie I show the locker room. Interesting.
Yeah, I always say it doesn't necessarily have to be your favourite movie, but the movie you think everyone should see at some point.
I love V for Vendetta. I think that's probably one of my favourite films ever.
Nice, that's a good shout.
I love the ideas behind it. It's very 1984. And that's my favourite book. I kind of really love the concept of kind of dystopian ideas and stuff like that. And kind of, because I speak really rough, but I'm actually quite well read. And I kind of, I don't put my history of politics to any use whatsoever. But I did like reading a lot. I used to love reading a lot and stuff like that. And I think a film like that is kind of because it's based loosely off one of my favorite books. It's kind of it's like 1984 meets Marvel. It's kind of really cool ideas, cool concepts in there.
No, I like it. Good shout. The next one's a bit of a throwback because it's your first job.
My first job, I was a waiter.
Nice. What sort of restaurant?
It's kind of like Spoons with a mustache on.
Fair. How was that?
I liked it for the most part because I was doing it whilst I was a student as well, whilst I was in university, and whilst I was a sixth form as well. No, I loved it. It was really busy. Waiters a hard job. It's very physical, very kind of. It's hard to be nice and really busy at the same time, but if you can do it, then you got the art down, and I think I managed to get the art down.
I was going to say, were you good at getting the tips? Were you good at like?
Yeah, honestly, when I was in uni and stuff, I'd take about 60 to 80 pound a weekend and tips and use that on the night out, like, you know what I mean?
Nice. So, yeah, and when you're at uni, that's all you want, right?
Oh yeah. You have beer money and like living money, and that's. I drank a lot of beer in university. So, yeah.
As you do. Love it. The next one gets a little deep because it's your greatest fear.
My greatest fear. In the ring or in general?
In general.
Right, so I can't swim.
Right.
The water, big stuff.
Okay.
I never learned, I never bothered to learn, I can't do it.
That's fair. I imagine that would be a fear then. That makes sense.
Drowning's the worst fear ever.
Just not a fan of swimming, like not a fan of water, like never wanted to do it, or?
Never, all three. Fair. Never wanted to, don't like it, all that kind of stuff, yeah.
No, that's fair. I understand that. As long as they don't do like a wrestling show in a swimming pool.
Yeah, like if that breed promotion was still around now, did that show in the cave? Absolutely not. I was not
a chance.
Yeah, same principle, Ned. Like I've been drowning or been in a cave or something like that.
No, sure. Not. Yeah, that like trapped feeling kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely not. Yeah.
No, I got you. The next one's a bit more positive because it's your favourite animal.
Dogs.
Nice, classic.
Yeah. I got a German Shepherd.
Lovely.
And it's like just over a year old now, and it's my partner's dog, but it's technically mine as well.
That's how it works. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I love him. Like I was in bed the other week, and she knocked my contact lenses off the side in the case, and then she flicked it up and caught it in her mouth, and I got a video of it as well. It's hilarious.
That's amazing. What?
Yeah, and I was chasing her downstairs, and she just had this blue contact lens.
Yeah. You got it back though, I'm sure.
Yeah, it was chewed, but I got it. Yeah.
That's all that matters. At least they were in the case, right?
Yeah. Just dogs, man.
They're a handful. But worth it. No, sure. The next one's the only wrestling one on this list. It's your favourite match stipulation.
Favourite match stipulation? Honestly, I hate like anything that's not singles or tag matches, anything other than that. Because like I've been in no DQ matches, I've been in ladder matches, and I always feel so ill after them.
No, I get you. Yeah, I imagine.
I wrestled Flash the other day at Chaos at our 10-year anniversary show. 33 minutes we wrestled for, right? And I was so beat up the next day. So beat up. So yeah, it wasn't very good.
No, sure. That's fine. I mean, like a classic is like you will love a classic, right? Like just a classic singles or tag match is like I'd say most of my favourite matches are just like classic singles or tag matches.
Yeah. Like right. I might sound bonus there, but I think wrestling's so creative and so kind of like so you can do so much with a wrestling match, and it's artful in all ways, in every single way. There's no right way or wrong way of doing something, but like it doesn't matter if it's a comedy match. Doesn't matter if it's good, it's good. You know what I mean? And I think if it's good, if wrestling's good and the basics, fundamentals, and technically is good, then that's the kind of wrestling I like.
No, I love that. The next one is your favourite place in the world.
Ooh, I went to New Orleans for WrestleMania 30. And
nice.
I love New Orleans. I love the French Quarter. I love the jazz. I love the kind of the Voodoo museums. I love the alligator swamp tours. I love because we went when it was Mardi Gras too, so it was like the vibes there and all that kind of stuff as well. It was real cool. I loved it. But I also really enjoyed Hungary as well when I was out there in Budapest and stuff. And the food in Hungary is my favorite. I love Hungary.
Like Eastern
Hungarian
European food
is the best.
Yeah, Eastern European food is really good, like really solid.
Yeah, I've never had hardly any of the stuff out there, and they have to deal with everything as well. It's like,
yeah. No, I like it. And then the final one, let's say someone you haven't been, because it's your dream holiday destination.
Dream holiday destination. So I've never been to New York. That's one thing I've always wanted to do. New York, definitely. Yeah, and somewhere sunny, like a Spain or something like that. I've never been to Spain or anything like that either, so I kind of want to go to like a Barcelona or something like that, and
Nice.
New York. They're the two places.
What kind of like holiday are you? Are you like an explorer, or are you like a chill on the beach in the sun kind of person?
Explorer. Like, I went to Edinburgh a couple months back, and we must have walked about 30,000 steps a day.
I was about to say the same. Like, me and my partner went last year, and we did like 25,000 steps a day, and it was mad. We were exhausted.
Yeah, non-stop. I'm someone who has to see stuff. I mean, I'm a bit of a nerd outside of wrestling too. Like, you know, so any architecture, any kind of history involved, I'm like there. So I love that kind of stuff too. So I'm not someone who kind of chills out a lot, to be honest.
No, which is weird, isn't it? Because you'd think you'd want to give your body a rest, but no.
Yeah, you gotta go see shit, don't you? Yeah.
No, brilliant. Well, that brings us nicely to sort of like the close of the podcast. We always end with a new feature that we've got where our last guest leaves a question for our next guest. But I'm not allowed to tell you who the wrestler was who left you the question, so it comes completely out of context. Okay. So the question you've been left here is this is quite an interesting one, actually. Yeah. Which 80s wrestler or wrestling personality would you take to prom?
God.
Yeah, these questions are always bizarre. They're
just for a laugh, Ultimate Warrior.
Oh, mate. Yeah, Warrior in the tux walking into prom. I tell you what.
I'm just thinking about the conversations he'd be having. You know what I mean?
I can't imagine like the slow dancing though when the music gets quiet.
No, he's like, the moon and sun come together. Yeah, you know what I mean? He's just. I think it'd be funny conversations.
Yeah, it would certainly be interesting, wouldn't it? I like that answer. Yeah. I love that answer. No, that's good. I'll get your question for our next guest after we stop recording. But no, I think that brings us to the end very nicely. Brendan White, thank you so much for coming on the Rapid Theory podcast. I hope you've enjoyed it.
No worries, mate. It's a pleasure as always.
I'm glad. I hope it was worth the year wait.
Yeah.
I'm glad we finally got it out. It's been a pleasure having you here and talking all things wrestling. It's been an absolute pleasure. We always end each podcast by giving our guest one final bit of promo time. So if anyone sees the Greedy Souls on a match card, if they're coming to see you in the Great British Tag League, hopefully in the final at Crystal Palace in December as well, or anywhere else in the country, Progress or Riot or New Wave or Attack, and why are the Greedy Souls going to steal the show?
Well, this is the thing. We don't go out there to steal a show. We don't care about bangers. We are business as usual. We are all business. We are. If you like professional wrestling, you like the Greedy Souls. That is it. I don't care about banger matches. I don't care about like being this and being that. We're just business. We're just professional wrestlers. So if you like professional wrestling, come and watch us.
Love it.
If you don't, you don't like us. Simple as that.